Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to tonight's episode of Hey Sister. We are
Hey.
so excited. Woo! And you know, Hey Sister is our show for sisters, by sisters, and about sisters and misters. And we're so excited because we have two of our favorite misters joining us tonight. And we can't wait to really get into this conversation. We're going to talk hot topics. We're going to talk about celebration because they are celebrating a milestone. Woo, woo, woo. That's right. So we're going to talk about celebrating life, business, and love tonight.
We're
But
excited.
I gotta start off
with, this is our second time.
yes.
I know, right? Yeah.
Yes.
How long ago was the first time? I feel like it's been a while. It feels like it's been a while.
Well, 2020 feels like it's been a long by itself. So I think it was just 2019. But
really, this has been the longest. 2020 is the longest 4 years of our lives.
Right. Right. Yeah. Preach on it. But normally I would say, "Hey, sister, how you doing?"
I am doing well, here on the home front for another short period of time, another day or so. But all has been well. But now I got to go back to triple digit increases in coronavirus in the good state of Arizona.
Oh Lord! Are y'all sure you have to go back open and running, and they trying to get people back out into the world to kill them?
Yeah, I don't know. I left, and I was afraid, coming to Louisiana might be a little bit scary. But then got here, and then the other day saw the news. I think it was 93% increase the other day. So I'm sure we're over 100 at this point.
Well, let me say this as we get going, and folks are viewing, they're already starting to chime in. So let's see. Hey, Jody. Jody says, hey to Blair and Brandon. Jody is one of our most loyal viewers, and she also has a crush on Bay. She said he kind of fine, but I'm just going to leave that right there.
This is understood.
I need everybody to like, follow this what we're doing right now. Wherever you are, get down in the comments. We want you to join the conversation comments, but definitely like this, share it on your pages because this is a conversation you don't want to miss. I'm going to tell you all up front. We usually go for an hour, but guess what? I know we're talking to two of our favorite misters, and we might end up talking longer than that. One of my favorite friends out there, Rose, she said only a couple weeks ago, we were doing one of the things that I've been doing with my business. I've been doing these meetings via Zoom and what have you. And she said that was the first time she heard my accent. My Louisiana accent. So I will say this: I'm with my people tonight. It might come out. How about that? Okay.
Let it out. Let it out. I hear it. I was about to say might.
So welcome everybody to Hey Sister. We are so excited to have Team Dot and Haley with us, both Blair and Brandon, the founders of the Blairisms, and they are blowing up right now. So get ready to get in this conversation and join us in the comments. So, misters, how y'all doing?
Woo! Lord, we good. We great, actually. We're great. Really great. I mean, here's the thing. This is what the way that I've been describing what it feels like being inside, having something that we've been laboring at for so long start to do so well, but at the same time, the world around us is in unrest. It is sick, right? The world around us is ill. We are quarantined, and so we are not oblivious to the reality that is not far outside of our doors. And so, it's bittersweet in a lot of moments. There's a lot of joy and a lot of pain kind of at the same time. And that's actually what's been helping us actually do so well with the business, because we've been inspired
we've wanted to create things that help people through all of this. I mean, that's what the Blairisms itself was all about, is inspiration, laughter, and reflection. And we know that this is a moment that we have to reflect on. We have to kind of sit with it and the reality of it, because it's not something we can just gloss over, right? This is going to have lasting impacts on generations, and not just the social and racial unrest that we're seeing in our streets, but also just the fact that this is all happening over and over again in the midst of a global pandemic, right? In the midst of one of the worst presidencies this country has ever experienced. And these things are compounding, and we really wanted to create things that create pieces and put joy out there for us, right? Because we know Black people have been beaten down and we have been discounted and discriminated against forever. So we really need more uplifting and more encouragement and more loving than anybody else, really, if as far as we're concerned. So we don't love up on our Black people, because that's what we gotta do.
Well, I love it. I love this show. You know, as I was preparing for this, the quote that came to my head was James Baldwin. As we get ready to get into our hot topics tonight, to be a Negro in this country is to be relatively and to be relatively conscious is to be enraged almost all the time. And I don't know about you, but you know, let's get into these hot topics, because I have been raging inside.
Understandably so. It's a lot to be mad at. I mean, this is one of those moments in history where if you're not mad, you're not paying attention, or you are willfully ignorant or on the wrong side of history. Right? There are only a few options.
Yeah. Right. People who are being willfully obtuse.
Yes.
And God,
let's talk about this.
Surprise white folks. I'm sorry.
Wait. Oh, we going there. We going there. Another day, another killing. So, in the midst of everything that's going on, we see another killing of Mr. Brooks in Atlanta.
Yes. Rest in peace.
And you know, rest in peace to him. You know, it's just been a compounding. And so, as we said, this is not new.
That's right.
This is a millennia old issue.
That's right.
But with the bright light of this moment, what do y'all think about what was going on in Atlanta on this weekend?
Here's the thing. When you have a system that is built and designed on the oppression of Black people,
right,
and the police force has always been the first line of defense. They are the new slave patrol. They are the evolution of the slave patrol. The bright light does not, no matter how bright the light is, when it is something that is this ingrained into the system. 3 weeks of bright light, 2 years of bright light, 6 years of hashtags don't change or don't overturn hundreds of years of policy, de facto or de jure. And so because of the way that police have always been protected, for however they behave. We got Rodney King on videotape. We had Eric Garner's killer on videotape. These are all people who got off. We thought, well, they don't get seen, and so that's the thing. There's no record.
Right.
Well, record and then so
and there was record then that was
right.
Certainly swept under the rug, and people one of the biggest challenges that I think a lot of people aren't acknowledging is that white people and the systems and the institutions are all intertwined, right? Like there are racist cops who are coming out from the county in the country and playing rallying. And then Monday through Friday, they are downtown Atlanta, policing the streets and in Black communities. We see it here in DC and in Baltimore, and it happens all over the country where cops are not policing their communities. They are coming in from other communities. They don't represent the communities that they're supposed to be protecting and serving. And all they're doing is bringing their implicit bias right to these streets and right to these communities.
Yeah, I don't know. Sister, what say you? How did it land with you?
Well, I think there's so many factors involved, right? The unfortunate piece, because this is happening at the time that it's happening. I mean, it's great that we're shining a light on it, but as you all have said, this is nothing new. The unfortunate piece is that there will have those people who say, well, Mr. Brooks should have complied. And, you know, that
white man who got tased and started chasing that cop around, and they just watched him.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we all know that the rules are simply different. And I know we are going to talk about Dave Chappelle's show very shortly, but one of the things he pointed out was that in many cases, you've had police officers who have not been protected by other police officers, and therefore are other military personnel or former military folks who have not been protected by the police, and then they rallied and raged against the police. So I think what this says again to me is we can never heal because we keep getting re-injured, and we keep having to hashtag another name, and we keep talking about folks losing their lives. And when we're having conversations about defunding the police, we get caught up in the semantics of, well, what does the word defund really mean? When really we're just saying that, or what I hear people saying is that in a lot of instances, when I looked at Mr. Brooks's the video, I don't know the details of what happened, but I do feel like someone falling asleep in the way he was falling asleep may indicate that there was something else going on. There may have been a mental issue. There may have been narcolepsy. He may have taken an Ambien, anything, because I've heard Ambien, you can do some really weird things on. So anything could have happened. The bottom line is, we do not, in this country, we do not have the same relationship with the police that white people have. And we have not had that relationship because, as you all have alluded, in many cases, it was the police who allowed us to be beaten, to have dogs sicked on us. Many of them were Klansmen in the daytime, or the policemen in the daytime, Klansmen at night. And so we have a natural distrust for the police because we have been brutalized by the police since Ben, as they say. Yeah. So so it's hard. It's hard. Another day, another killing is just hard. And like I always say, it's so many names we don't even know.
Yeah. One of the things that I thought of as you were saying that is this this video that went viral. Kimberly Jones, I think her name is.
Yes.
The Monopoly.
And it's this idea, because a friend of mine who's a lawyer said in the comments that from a legal perspective, he should not have resisted. And so we get that in a perfect world, you should comply with the police, with what they say, not resist, and what have you, right? We know that's not a perfect world. But we also know, as Jesse Williams pointed out one time, that the data shows that police have figured out how to detain and arrest and de-escalate situations with white people without murdering them all the time.
Every day. White people who have weapons, who we know are armed.
They have found ways to de-escalate situation with arm. I mean, just look at the rednecks that showed up at the Capitol buildings recently, in the middle of a global pandemic, showed up at the Capitol buildings with automatic weapons and were treated like patriots. And 2 weeks later, tear gas going into the crowds of protesters. Peaceful protesters protesting police brutality. That's where we at. And that is not an accident, because here's the other part of it. The legal system itself was not ever designed to serve us. And so, all of this is about the structure and the design of where it is that we are. We see the evolution of it, but let's be clear, this started with 3/5. And until we understand and completely recognize every eventuality of Black life in America within the context of 3/5, we're having conversations that are going to keep us chasing our tails. And
well, we got a couple comments here, and you know, what you said there was very profound. So Jody says, so the police felt they had to shoot, but did he have to shoot to kill? Why not shoot for the legs?
Because this is the intention,
right?
And you know, we all know that
exactly.
Right? Of course, that's their intention,
right? I mean, they're not trying to shoot for the legs,
no.
and they're not right. Like
they're trained to shoot to kill.
Exactly. When you think about the value or lack thereof that these police officers have for Black life in general, of course they're going to automatically shoot to kill, right? They're not going to shoot to de-escalate the situation. Mind you, and this goes back to the point where we were talking about what does defunding the police actually look like and what does that mean? That means taking resources away from the police. That means putting resources into community health initiatives. That means putting other people into these situations where it might not be required, like it might not be called for a person to have a gun, like responding to a lot of mental health issues, like calls for mental health, like responding to, you know, very simple things like a person is drunk and disorderly. They do not need to respond with a gun for situations like this. And what ends up happening is police officers show up with a gun, and if they don't value Black life, they're going to take any instance of, I'm scared,
this,
right? They snowball.
What I've seen them escalate situations. So the gentleman nodded off. He may have been under the influence, but I'm going to say this: you could have impounded the car and called Uber Lyft.
Oh, well, they've already said that he offered to walk to his sister's house. So there was no reason that it should have gone any further.
But when every issue is a nail, you gonna lay the hammer. That's basically, however that phrase goes, whatever. Yeah. Your response is always disproportionate. Right. And that's the thing that I like I said, James Baldwin said it best. There's always that simmering rage, but we know that we have to go on. And so I say to all my people out there, yes, there's a lot of mistrust in these systems, and medical, social, political, and it's
all connected.
It's all connected. And you said it best. It goes back to the 3/5 issue. Because if I am not even viewed as a human being,
a whole human being,
yes, then it doesn't matter.
All right, where do we go from there, right?
Where do we go from there? Yeah. So, and I did see this one poster today. That whole thing about Black Lives Matter, that's the minimum.
That's a low bar to jump.
And here's the thing.
It has to be the fact that it even has two things right quick. The fact that it even has to be said, and two, the fact that even after we get through that it even has to be said, we have to continually defend that it has to be said.
And defend our right to say it. I mean, look what they did in Starbucks, right? Like this is a corporate giant, right? Starbucks is one of the largest corporations on the planet. And they clearly made a point to dictate to their employees that they should not support, you know, in the public display, the Black Lives Matter movement. And it took public backlash, and it took the marketplace to say, oh no, what you won't do is get up here and be hypocritical and support LGBT causes and make sure that these are parts of the issue.
But here's the thing, and that's the other, you know, what really pissed me off about the way that was approached was there's already this this internal thing that Black LGBT folks have to deal with being asked to choose which struggle they gonna put first.
Right.
Like, are you? And here's the thing:
the Oppression Olympics. Here we go.
Oppression Olympics. And what's unfortunate about it is I can't take neither of them off. People talk about well, people know when they see you Black, so that is what matters, or that ends up being primary. What?
There is no primary.
There is no primary because oppression is not cut and dry. Discrimination and the impacts of bigotry and prejudice and those things are not as cut and dry to be able to say, well, this I'm more likely to be discriminated against for this thing versus that thing versus this thing. Who knows based on who you're talking to? Right. Now I am probably more likely to be killed by the police because I'm black before I'm likely to be killed for the police because I'm gay. But the Pride movement started by black people against police brutality. And so like this idea that black LGBT people should be or are in any way separated from the larger Black Lives Matter movement. I mean, Black Lives Matter was started by black lesbians, black women. And so Bayard Rustin and James Baldwin. And so like this
idea that black people who are queer and identify on the different ranges of the sexual spectrum have not been a part of the struggle for black equality is ridiculous. And look, I'm a little crazy, right? So I like to go back to my native, my indigenous ancestors. And I'm telling you, like, we know that the gays were looked at as the shamans, like the wisdom bearers of the community. And we know that in cultures all throughout history, people been homosexual, right? And it's not anything new, right? There are homosexual animals across different species. Like the science is there, right? So any of these religious conversations about God says it's bad or social conversations, like they're just absurd because it's just natural, right? Like it's just a part of how existence is. And so when black people especially keep trans people out of these conversations and positions of authority in the movement themselves. Like the NAACP ain't never had no trans person in a position of executive leadership. And there's a reason for that. Like these organizations that have been the fabric of the black struggle have also got to take on the fact that they have let down many people in the black community. And that's the only way for them to really be able to move forward and hopefully make some, significant progress.
All
right,
okay. So look, we just
on the first hot topic.
Listen, I told y'all we gonna go a little long today, so y'all bear with us. Again, I need y'all to join the conversation in the comments. So please add your comments, ask your questions, be a part of the conversation tonight. And also share this broadcast on your page so that your friends can participate in the conversation with you.
Yeah, I want somebody to fact check me on the trans people in the NAACP too, because I would love to be wrong. I really would. I want to know.
You would love to be really shocking.
So we're gonna talk about something that both of you said you didn't have a chance to watch, but 8:46, and so listen. I woke up. I guess it was it Friday morning, and I was like, Friday morning, Saturday.
Because of 8:46. I'm curious.
8:46 is the time that Derek Chauvin nailed on George Floyd's neck.
8 minutes 46
seconds. 8 minutes and 46 seconds. Got it. I thought it was got it. Yes.
Okay.
Got it. 8 minutes and 46 seconds, and it also was another significance that Dave Chappelle speaks about. So if you did not see Dave Chappelle's 8:46, so they dropped it in the middle of the night. I woke up and I got on Twitter and saw Michael Harriot say something about Dave Chappelle. And I was like, well, what Dave Chappelle do? I've been speechless most days.
Michael Harriot and I are Facebook friends, so I'm interested to see what he has to say. I just have been so we've been dealing with so much with business and work. I really just have not. We've been binge watching Billions,
right?
And it took us like 3 weeks to get through the last 2 episodes of one of the seasons. Stuff has been crazy. So
you've been popping off. But sister, I know you watched it.
I did.
So it was wonderful in that they had a socially distanced gathering. Look, it appeared to be in a backyard of sorts, and everyone had Chappelle branded masks, and they had 2 chairs seated next to each other in red squares, to distance from everyone. And yeah, there was little comedy to be had. It was more of a searing commentary and basically saying, I'm tired of this shit. And no uncertain terms. He said, I'm tired of this shit. So, sister, what you think?
Yeah, I thought that it was very compelling. I would say that it's interesting because you had sent you had posted it. From there, I couldn't, for whatever reason, I couldn't seem to watch it there, but I found it somewhere else. But there was a Vanity Fair article or something that was Variety article associated with it. What I've always found interesting is, as long as people are making us laugh, you know, the comments are entertaining us. Let me say that. As long as people are entertaining us in some way, shape, or form, the commentary skews a certain way, right? But the minute a law-abiding, tax-paying citizen opts to use their platform to speak truth to power, then it becomes, well, who cares about what a comedian thinks, or shut up and dribble, or, you know, what have you. So Drew Brees is entitled to his opinion, but LeBron James is supposed to shut up and dribble. Dave Chappelle, oh, you're just this washed up, or you're not even funny, and all this stuff. So I just found that was very interesting. But I could appreciate that he actually just, now for the people who, if they paid to go, I don't even know if it was a paid thing or if he just said, hey, I just want to do something, and you know, first 100 people or something who arrive get in or whatever. I don't know. But for the people who were there, I'm sure they were like, whoa, we really expect to hear some jokes tonight. And there was, you know, there were some, you know, light laughing moments, but there was absolutely nothing that was funny. It was raw emotion. Now I have to say, I would honestly like for Dave to not use the N-word. And there's
your microphone is rubbing against your
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I'm like,
I apologize. I really would like him not to use the N-word as much as he does, only because I don't want that to be a distraction from what the power that he had behind his words. Now, I had no problem with him calling your girl, and I don't even want to say her name. Yeah, I didn't want to say her name. I had no problem with him calling her the unthinkable C word at all. And because I thought what she did to George Floyd, I did not post about it. I did not talk about it because I thought what she did to George Floyd was lower than low. And so
honestly, she's a person who I block out because I know she's
right. I heard that she had made a video and had said some, but I mean, it's Candace Owens, right? So I can't even give her the time and space because I know that likely by the end of whatever 3 minutes, whatever, I'm not going to get that time back. I'm not going to get back all the time I'm going to spend incensed about whatever it is she has said.
I think the only problem that I have, though, you know, I guess I just wonder how, like, I know we've talked about her sister about being opportunistic, but I'm like, damn, is there not a line? Is there not a line? And
stop, child, if you are waiting for folks to have a bottom, then just don't hold your breath. Like, if you want to keep waiting for certain folks to have a bottom, you can do that. Just do not hold your breath for it. Because especially once people have, this is the whole principle. You know, folks walk around wanting to quote Maya Angelou about her showing people who they are, but don't believe it when people keep showing them who they are. And there's a reason. There's certain wells that there's no need to go back to.
Yeah.
There's nothing there, but there's nothing there.
Like we don't turn on Fox News. Like people keep saying, I need to watch to see what the other side is saying.
For what?
I know they all talking about. I know the bullshit they saying. They keep saying bullshit over and over again. I'm sorry, I need to stop cursing.
No, that's fine.
No,
you're right.
Listen, we in a space right now where cussing is like so necessary. You know what I mean?
No. Trust me, I understand.
Cussing and alcohol are both very necessary.
They're real strong right now.
Yeah.
Right.
It's the reality of it. Like we have watched a propaganda machine turn a large portion of our country's electorate into ignorant, completely misled, and just like
you didn't have to do a lot of turning.
They just had to
nurture it.
They nurtured, right? They stumped a lot, but at the same time, they also made it a point to defund education, right? So we couldn't educate their kids any better, right? Like we could have potentially maybe ease some of this if our education system wasn't such garbage, right? Like we've been funding our education system through property.
No, we defund education and refund the police. That's the problem. Like
military prisons and police get all the money. Our schools get nothing, and then people wonder why we are all violent and angry.
Healthcare, mental health get nothing.
Right.
Social services of any sort. Come on now. And then you wonder why we got a problem?
Exactly.
Bootstraps.
I tell people all the time, creating the kind of society that we all want to see and imagine, it's not difficult. It wouldn't be a really hard thing to do. It would be a thing of changing our priorities, right? Like we understand that there is but so much time in the day and there's but so much energy that we can all expend, right? So if we take that time and we expend our energy building roads, building mass public transit systems that are free and open to the public that allow people to move about. Right, you are free to move about the country.
This is not for lack of information. Yeah. It's not intended.
That's true.
This country wasn't designed for everybody to have.
Right.
This country wasn't designed for everybody to succeed. This country wasn't designed. This country was built literally on the backs of other people for free. Yeah. So again, when you go back to how
and at the genocide of another group of people.
And at the genocide of another group of people. Thanks. So here we are.
Yeah. So we don't have any. It's sad to say we should not have any expectations because again, we have been shown time and time again. Yeah. Now, I hope that at this moment, let me just say this about the Dave Chappelle special. Like I said, there were, he uses several examples, but he used specifically Chris Darner in Los Angeles, and then the young man in Dallas, Texas, and then he even alludes to the young man in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, who these three men who were ex-military who went in and ultimately shot and killed.
They were black men who were in the military.
Who shot and killed police officers out of rage, that rage that we're talking about. And then, even when he talks about Chris Darner, I remember that. I was in LA at the time. And when he talks about they sent 400 policemen to kill him. And so when you just put that in context of if it was 400 policemen to kill him and he was one of their quote unquote brothers, and we know the blue code of silence or the blue wall of silence is a real thing, it just really feels like the rest of us don't stand a chance. So I guess I just feel
all of that.
Right. It's
because white supremacy beats all of that.
Right.
Exactly. Like we end up being stuck and susceptible to the trappings that this institution has built for itself. Right. The way in which the heads of all of these institutions are working together and coordinating to make sure that the movements that we are trying to create are suppressed. Like this is all a coordinated effort between the people who are not only elected officials, but the people who are then appointed officials and the people who just get their job because they apply for it. I mean, it's coordination between the police, between the governments themselves, because as much as we like to believe that the people that we have elected to make change, right? Our Democratic leadership, the people we put into office, like we want to believe that they are investing and making efforts to change the governments for our betterment, but really they're squashing and maintaining the status quo. And they're making sure that we go home at curfew. They are making sure that there is a curfew in place. They're cutting these deals behind these closed doors with the police unions, with, you know, the lobbyists. Like these interests are all working against our interest, because capitalism will never, ever be in the best interest of people, because our two interests will diverge when it comes to humanity, when it comes to the things that we need. If those things cost more than what people are willing to give, then we all up shit's creek.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just wanted to say one last thing, Demetria. Just
okay, yeah, because we got a lot of comments.
Yeah, I know we gotta move. I just wanted to say, you know, I applaud Dave Chappelle, like I said, for using his platform. I applaud Jay Farrell. I don't know if you saw his video as well, and many others who through all of this pain we are creating. In order to shine a light on these situations, and I pray that I pray that even if 1-2 people wake up from this, that's better than none. But it's obviously we're always going to be fighting this uphill battle because, as you all have said, the system was never meant and intended for us in the first place.
Mm-hmm. All right, we had a comment here from Dorothy Finney. He said as a celebrity he did not need to speak on the issue. Yeah, because he called out Don Lemon to call out celebrity. Ooh, did he? Oh Lord, I was like, ooh, don't be doing Don like that.
No, but Don needed to be done like that in that moment.
Yeah,
but Don got it. He understood. That was good.
Hey, we understand. He said the street was taking care of the business. He was born at 8:46 in the morning as well. That's what was the significance that he said that it affected him severely. Lakeisha said, I would have paid to hear his Gene speak on his truth. I prefer the N-word not be used as well. So we had one say, please don't say her name. Y'all know who that her is, so we won't go back there. And that's like saying the orange man will get a brain or a heart. Not going to happen for that witch. So y'all know who that is. And then why are we always blamed for the destruction after a violent event? The film footage actually showed a white lady who set the fire at Wendy's.
That's the racism of media portrayals of Black people. I mean, when we talk about how white people will tear up a city after a baseball game or a football game.
When they win, they tear shit up when they win.
Right. And Black people, we step out for a peaceful.
And they say, oh, it's jubilant fandom.
Or these are boys being boys.
Okay. So since somebody mentioned the orange man, let's just talk about it's Obama Appreciation Day.
No. That's real. I love Black people for being this petty today. I'm here for it. Keep them coming.
That is so funny.
I tell you, we some creative folks, because I was like, what's up with all the Obama? Oh, it's that Happy Appreciation Day, my brother.
Appreciation.
We miss you. Oh my gosh. But speaking of appreciation,
after we get off here.
Speaking of appreciation and speaking of days, because we have so much more ground to cover, but we spend a lot of time here. But I want to talk about you two celebrating your 9th anniversary.
Woo!
Woo! So we're going to talk about that, the context of Black love.
Well, y'all tell us, Brandon, you're looking like you're not sure. Like 9?
No, it's for
sure not.
For sure
not.
I was like, I know I got it right. Like,
it has happened so quickly.
Yeah.
And so unexpectedly.
You blink and a decade goes by.
We just we had no idea when we met that we were not going to leave each other. You know what I mean? When you meet somebody and you don't you just don't know. We had no idea that this was it when we first met.
And then we worked at it too. Once we realized that it was the thing, we was like, all right, now we have to make it work.
Do stuff.
Now we got to do right.
Keep working at it to make it work and stay working.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit, because the last time when Blair was on, and you kind of came in the shadows there, Brandon, but now we have you two together. Tell us about the story. Tell us about how this union came to be, and how you've made it last. So yes, you put in the work and the effort, but how did this union come to be, and you choose to make it last? Because one of the things that we talked the other day, and we were talking about being on quarantine, and you were like, well, I'm good because I'm with somebody who I like. Like I'm just fine.
Yeah.
Other people, and I was like, yeah, they struggling because they don't like themselves, they don't like their spouse, they don't like their children. They're learning some things in this time, right? But you like, we good. And now you got your business popping and on fire, right? And y'all just, because so much to talk about. But how did this union come to be?
So I slid into his DMs. This is like way back when, but this is actually before apps, right? But we did meet online on this app, of this website called Black Gay Chat, BGC Live, shout out. And basically, I was just like, hey, what's up? And so, I was looking for somebody to smoke with. I mean, I was 22, 23, just coming out of college. I wasn't necessarily looking for anything serious. He wasn't either. And what ended up happening, we met online and kind of talking back and forth, but it was 8 months before we met in person. And when we finally met in person, then he was like, oh.
I mean, it was the first night that we hung out together. Like he was
smitten.
There was something about him that I found to be special. I could tell that first night that there was something special about him. Now, I didn't think that night even then that anything was gonna happen.
Right.
But it wasn't long after we started spending time together that I realized that something more than just like this was something different than just casual hanging out. And I realized it first, and then when I tried to have a conversation with him about it, it kind of freaked him out.
23, what do you want from me?
And then 2 months later, he proposed. So,
oh wow,
right,
y'all might need to teach some classes.
Listen, so let me talk about this youngin named Brandon, because you made a comment about something the other day, and I got all in my feelings because my maturity set in. I was like, ooh.
What I say?
That sounds right.
What I say?
I can't remember what he didn't know. What did he not know of? What did he not know, Blair? I can't remember. He had never seen something, an episode of something. And I was like, who?
What were we talking about?
I mean,
I can't remember.
I'll have to go back and look, but I was like, oh.
No. So that's the thing, right? And that was
this youngin. You got bold youngin to go ahead and propose.
I did, right? So here's the thing. I've always been a little more mature, at least a little older in the head. And it didn't surprise me when I kind of like settled, like when it hit me, right? I was just like, you know what? Yep, that's it. And I literally like looked over at him and was like, hey, so
the proposal
that's kind of it. And we got this thing coming up in a couple of weeks that will kind of be fun. Like let's just get married there, right? We're gonna be there. It would be great. He was like, what? Are you serious?
I was driving
when
he proposed.
Mm-hmm. Because I just decided. Like,
wait, the proposal came 2 months after he said, I like you a little bit more than just hanging out. Then you proposed.
We officially
we
met at the end of October.
Started
dating in like January. Like we officially said we're gonna be boyfriends, and then end of February, I was like, all right, that's enough. Let's do it.
And then you were gonna go to an event a few weeks after that and just get married.
Yeah, we had planned to go to.
Get married.
So
like
my birthday was coming up in a few weeks, and we had planned this trip to New York. And I was like, let's just get married while we're there. It'd be so much fun. And
everybody was like, "What in God's name?"
Right.
Is
So
going
people
on?
like, wait, what? That's crazy.
Everybody was like, "Wait, everybody stop!
Yeah.
What is happening?"
So we were convinced to just enjoy the engagement and to kind of have a day that our family and friends.
Yeah,
will
I was like, okay, you know, I love a good event. Let's just plan it out for a year from now. Because my position was, both of our positions were, whether we did it in 3 weeks or 3 months or a year from then or whatever, we were sure then. By that point, we were both sure that this is what was going to happen. So we told everybody, we're going, let's enjoy the engagement. We'll just enjoy being engaged, and we'll get married next year. That'll give everybody time to be comfortable and get to come and
get your plans and all
their money together.
We did a whole big thing, and we did a whole big thing, and
here we are.
Here we are. It's been
so,
9 years.
Right. And so the question of how is it working? I mean, because we honestly we spend all day, every day together, but we actually like each other. We do have our moments where sometimes like our just individual personalities will clash, and so and that just happens. Like you spend all day with somebody, y'all not gonna like each other every moment of every day, but we generally like each other. And even when we are angry, we can take a deep breath, step away, and come back and like work through it. And that's a part of it. Like we try to look at each other and talk to each other and talk through the moments that are very difficult. And I mean, that's the only way we're gonna make it through this. Because if you just spend your whole time being angry and pouting and mad at somebody and not actually like talking through it and figuring out what's at the root of this and how can we solve this and get to a better place, then eventually all that is just gonna fester and rot away at the whole thing.
We have a comment here. It says, and it takes other couples 5 years of engagement, 2 kids, and 3 house moves to get married.
That's true. That is true.
What's funny about the move in? So we started dating at the beginning of January. MLK weekend, I went to stay the weekend at his apartment and never left. Yeah. I ended up paying rent at my other apartment. We kind of I kept paying rent at my apartment for the next all through January, February, and March.
Yep.
In the middle of February, realized I had been at his apartment for a month and had only gone back home to get clothes, and knew that my lease was going to be up at the end of March. So I was like, do we need to, like, should I just move in here? Because I'm going to probably move out of where I'm at the end of there. What are we doing? And so at first he was like, woo, move in together. I was like, been here for a month. Do you want me to go home? I can go home. I mean, like, if you want me to go home, then we need to have like that conversation about how we doing this, because I've not been home in a month. Yeah. I never left.
Yeah.
So how did y'all transition?
I'm grinning from ear to ear because I just love it. I just love a good love story.
Honestly, and then it was funny because actually I had a roommate at the time, and then a tornado took the roof off of the apartment like 2-3 months later, and we were forced to find our own place. We ended up being there for like 7.5 years.
For 7.5 years.
Everything for a reason, you know.
So how did y'all end up transitioning y'all relationship and marriage into deciding to do business together?
Oh, that was more a product of us supporting what the other one wants to do.
Right. Because we've always kind of like, so the Lundy Gras, like, so Blair's been doing a show in New Orleans for the last 9 years. And, you know, I've always done what I could to, you know, make sure that we got there, that, you know, if I was helping out with coordinating, like, you know, we've always tried to work together.
I'm sorry I keep yawning, y'all. I've had a lot of sleepless nights in the last 3 or so weeks. With everything that's going on, and
we still ain't talk about everything that's going on. We got to talk about that too.
Well, that's where I was trying to go. So I wanted to talk about how y'all got into business together, and then segue into what's going on right now.
So
Blair came up with this idea.
A good friend of mine. Shout out to Courtney Danclair. I was on my way to LA for a holiday party in 2016. Shout out to Uncle DL. And I happened to be flying in, as God would have it, on this good friend of mine from college's birthday who lived in LA at the time. and who I didn't know it was her birthday until I got on Facebook while I was on the flight. And so it was her birthday. And so I hit her up to ask her if she wanted to go to lunch. We go to lunch, and at lunch, she says to me, you know, yada, 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 all of this stuff that you say on Facebook that everybody that loves and laughs at and is inspired by, what have you, you should take those things and put them on t-shirts. Apparel is a big thing. People would love them. I'm telling you, people would
wear
buy
clothes.
Them. People wear clothes all the time. I'm telling you, you should do it. It would be a thing. I promise you. And so I was at a point, and we were both at a point at that point that we kind of didn't have anything to lose. And it's ironic because the fact that we didn't have anything to lose also means we didn't have any money to start a business, right? Like we didn't have any capital, we didn't have anything to start a business. We didn't have anything to invest in. Just some ideas and some already. I mean, there are what have now become Blairisms, quotes of mine that you can search back to Facebook back to like 2012. I was looking at a post the other day that said, before I was even hashtagging stuff or putting, if you're reading this, remember in front of it, you know, there's a post that just says, don't forget to be your own inspiration. Never allow yourself to be weak for someone who doesn't make you stronger. All of those, this is back before they were even being hashtagged as, and that was even before, years before we got this idea to do it. So it was more of a, Bay, I have this idea. I think we should try it out. And him saying, all right, let's give it a shot. Let's go. Mm-hmm. And that's how we went into business together. Right. I mean, that also speaks to, we're asked a lot about, are there parameters around, like, do we have set hours that we talk about business, or do we, you know, cut it off at a certain point? I'll turn over at 3 a.m. and say something to him. Whether or not he can hear it or not, just to get it out. And then remind him in the morning. I'll be like, did you hear me when he's like, no, okay, good. Well, let me say it again, but I had to get it out there. Yeah. Well, that's also what happened 3 weeks ago when we decided to launch the Savage Collection. The exact same thing happened.
Well, here's one of the Savage Collection that they launched. I dropped the website in here, but I think this was the one that started it all, right?
Started all.
The Golden Girls.
The Golden Girl. I am a huge, I've seen every episode.
Twice.
3 times a lady of the Golden Girls. I'm a huge fan, have been since high school, and found a meme on the internet that I saw inspired me to create this design, switch up some of the things, and we ended up with an entire collection. Again, like I said, I had an idea that was rumbling in my head for 2 days after seeing something similar to this, and it would not leave me alone to do it. Mm-hmm. It was one of those things where I was trying to like ignore it, and it would not let me ignore it. And so after a day and a half, I woke up 6 o'clock in the morning on Tuesday, the 19th of May, and was like, Betty, Golden Girls, Savage, Classy, Bougie, Ratchet, we got to do it. And he was like, what you mean? I'm like, a shirt. We got to do it. I need the pick. I got it in my head already. We got to do it. So we have our morning wake and bake, and I then start talking about it again. Mm-hmm. And he knows that if I start talking about something first thing in the morning, right, and then that's what I'm talking about,
you hear these ideas.
He's like, okay, all right. So he says to me, he started to look at me. He's like, oh, so we're going upstairs and doing this right now. I was like, yeah, we're going to do this right now. Like, I'm ready. I like, this is it. Mm-hmm. And we went upstairs, and in about 30 minutes, we had the first one done, that one done. He also wanted to, he said, if we're going to do this, then let's do some other iconic characters. Let's put some other ones together.
No half stepping, right?
Like, and so then I said to him, whatever we come up with it, whatever themes, whoever we're going to honor, one has got to be people who are close, like iconic, but also people who fit in with, I'm not doing a shirt for somebody who I don't have any connection with in any way, right? That it has to be authentic to the brand, and two, it's gotta hit. Like, you gotta pull it up. People have to look at it and be like, bam, that's it. And so we started down this road, ended up with 10 in that week, including Big Frida and Beyonce and Whitney Houston, and we did a collection for Black TV dads and Black TV moms, girlfriends and living single, designing women.
Oh yeah, one of my personal favorite is the one with Rasputia and Holiday Heart and
Noxzema Jackson and
Shanae. It's Ratchet, right?
Yes. Shanae invented Ratchet, I believe.
Real close, if not.
Real close.
And so we do have in our heads some other thoughts and some other ones that we want to do to honor other both TV shows, other iconic people.
The Color Purple
we
today.
Just launched The Color Purple today. Yesterday we did a couple political.
Yes, I saw Auntie Mason and Nancy Pelosi.
Yesterday, the clap and the ripping of the ripping in half of that trash speech. And the classy was her silencing everyone when the impeachment vote came.
Yes,
and everybody wanted to clap. She tried that. She
like a old lady in church.
Yes, and so we're excited about what. I mean, it's just been 3 weeks, right? Like that's the other thing for us is that to see something that I woke up that morning. It hasn't even been a month. This Tuesday will be a month from me waking up that morning to see the kind of legs that it had. We were featured on Fashion Bomb Daily on Friday.
Shout out to Claire.
Shout out to Claire
and the whole team,
at Fashion Bomb for that love.
You also were featured in the Huffington Post as well.
Featured in the Huffington Post.
Nice.
For,
one of our masks.
One of our masks is the Black People I Love You mask. Right. The Black People I Love You mask was featured in the Huffington Post as a part of 16 designers or collections or T-shirt brands to support during the resistance that are supporting Black people. And so we were blessed by that. Ty Hunter, Beyonce stylist.
Shout out to Ty Hunter.
Shout out to Ty Hunter. He was so gracious to join us, special guest last night on Instagram to celebrate our anniversary and to celebrate the launch of the Savage collection. He's been posting in his Savage wear. He's got a bunch. He loves the Living Single one. Erica Alexander, we were fortunate to get a picture of the Savage in the Savage.
Right.
And so we're extremely blessed.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
We're so appreciative of the support. I want to shout out all of the we are grateful and excited about all the people who are new to Blairisms, but I would be remiss, and it would not be who I am to not acknowledge and appreciate all of the folks who have been with us from the first day, who bought the first T-shirts, who bought the first this, who have been here the whole time. And so thank you to all of those folks, because those are the folks who are the reason we made it this far to see this growth happen. And so thank you to all of our, all our folks who
shop during Mardi Gras,
or who decided to set aside money in their check every 2 weeks to buy one shirt or to buy 2 shirts. There's a brother in Chicago I've never met before, hit me up last summer and was like, bruh, I've decided every 2 weeks I'm buying one shirt from you. That's how I'm going to invest in what you're doing. And every Friday night, it would not fail. There were weeks last year where we did not get any sales. And he would show up. And so thank you to all of the folks who held it down, because now, I mean, God is just, the rain has come and we're fortunate for it. And we're blessed.
I think, the people who hold you down, I tell you that is a blessing. And having that girding up under you, regardless of what happens, right? Regardless of what winds may blow, because this is part of the Blairisms, but Brandon, you've been doing a whole nother business you've been launching. And you have a whole business. You've been traveling the world launching your business. So tell us about your business.
Yeah, so I gotta be honest, it's not my business, but
I know, but you're a part of it.
I gotta hold my team down. So my best friend, Ellington West, is a phenomenal business leader and entrepreneur, and she collaborated with one of her father's students. So her father is Dr. James West. He is actually the inventor of the electret microphone. It's in this microphone you see right here. Y'all got it in y'all's computers and cell phones and all that. So
all of that stuff.
World-renowned acoustician, physicist, and he at the Hopkins School of Engineering put his team on this project to create technology that could instantly identify pneumonia anywhere, right? Like we could put it in our hand and anybody could use it, and they did it. Like they created this handheld device that we can now use to screen for respiratory abnormalities. And I joined the team back in 2018 to help build and turn the research project at Hopkins into an actual company, because that's the one thing that a lot of people don't realize is that you see all these inventions, but the invention part happens and then the commercialization part happens. And so because of my experience in business management, development, wholesale, inventory, logistics, and kind of what I had done with Alex and Ani and Steve Madden and Aldo, like it all kind of helped with developing this commercial product. And so that's what I do. I've been working with Sanavi Labs now for almost 2 years, and we are preparing to launch the product later on this year. We're going through FDA right now. We've gotten NIH grants. We've won an MIT Solve competition in Bangladesh. We won Best Pitch at Arab Health in Dubai earlier this year. So the second largest medical conference in the world. And, we
got to go to Dubai.
We got to go to Dubai, yeah. And, it's great because we are a small team. Ellington is a young Black woman, one of the very few African-American CEOs to raise over $1 million for her startup. I ain't gonna lie, being in a C-level position for a medical device and technology company as a Black gay young man, it's not necessarily easy. I struggle with my imposter syndrome all the time. Just trying to convince myself that I belong here, that I'm supposed to be here just because I'm one of the few people in the room. And the fact that all these other people got here doesn't mean that they're more worthy of being in these rooms than I am. You know what I mean? Like I've had to psych myself up, but I go in that room and slay it. And so we are doing what we can to, impact respiratory health, because it is one of the things that impacts the Black community more than anything. Asthma, COPD are 2 and 3 times more pervasive and deadly in Black communities. And so we're working to create solutions to solve that, to help medical systems and health systems that in our community serve us better, and to provide resources that help us take care of ourselves. So shout out to Sanavi Labs. Keep on for the work that we are doing. And,
and that's why I dropped the link. So I dropped 2 links in the comments, everybody. One for the Blairisms as well as a Sanavi Lab, so you can learn more about the work that's going on. Our friend and avid watcher, Lakeisha, says, I'm new to this and excited for you both. Is it too late to get a shirt for Father's Day?
Go order it tonight. We'll make sure you get it. I'll expedite your shipping, sis.
Yeah, so he will expedite your shipments. So we I am just I'm so proud of you for everything that you all have done, and you also recently announced a new partnership with Kenny Lattimore. So tell us about the partnership with Kenny Lattimore and how that came about. Because we're gonna have to announce a partnership with Hey Sister, because I'm thinking Hey Sister and the Blairisms, we gotta come together.
So Kenny, so here's the thing about so I'm a singer. I've been singing for you. Kenny's one of Kenny's maybe his most popular song. Since it came out, since I was in college and it came out, I've been singing. I've sung. I can't tell you how many people down the aisle, engagements, anniversary, the whole. It is a song for love. For You is one of those songs. To have transitioned, into from being an admirer, a fan of Kenny's, to becoming friends of Kenny's a few years ago was surreal beyond anything that I had imagined.
Yeah.
Well, a couple of weeks ago, this is after the 19th, so this is after the wind started blowing. It was a Saturday, and we had just signed 2 new clients that week, consulting clients. And Kenny and I had planned to check in on Saturday from the day before. We had talked through text on Friday, and we're like, we'll check in on Saturday. And so we were on the phone on Saturday afternoon. We were actually here in this room in the kitchen, and we were just catching up, talking about what was going on in our lives, and him telling us what was going on with him and his. Shout out to him and he's a newlywed.
Mm-hmm.
That's a whole, like they're newlyweds. We're about to be old weds. And so we were just, catching up. Yeah. And so we started talking about, we were telling him that we had just signed 2 new clients and what have you, and just talking about the Savage collection. Yep. And so he asked us to kind of double click on what we were doing with the new clients. And so when we explained what we were doing with the clients, he was like, oh, wait. Do you guys think you could do something with my merchandising? And we were like, well, of
what
course.
Do you mean?
What do you mean?
Right.
Like,
say more about that.
Say more what you mean. And so he showed us what his site looked like and said, to be honest, when we saw his site, we knew what he needed.
Yep, exactly. Okay.
We said, you need everything. We got you. And so we were so inspired by the conversation that we had that we got off the phone with him and went upstairs and made a mock-up of one of what will be released as one of his new collections, one of the designs in his new collections, and sent it to him. And he was completely blown away. He was like, wait, y'all did this since we got off the phone? Yep. And so initially we were thinking that we were going to be consultants for his brand, and he decided that he wanted to help, that he wanted us to partner with him to kind of revamp the entire thing. And there's potential that we could be a part of working with his brand moving forward. So
it's so exciting for us.
It's so exciting for us. It's a blessing.
Wait for everybody to see.
We are very excited about Father's Day next Sunday. We're going to be on live. A part of the time, we're not sure which part of the time, but we will be on. We'll be announcing it soon. We'll be on live with Kenny next Sunday for Father's Day to help launch his new collections, his new branding.
I absolutely love that. I know, sister. I know you love that too, right? And you,
I do.
Yeah, you over there smiling. What you got to say, sister?
No, I think it's great. I love that, we are talking about sort of the wind blowing, since, and I think I may have said this on Hey Sister before, since the phrase or the saying or the biblical verse, your gifts will make room for you, kind of came to me recently, ever since since I heard it like 2 times or 3 times in the same week. And then since then, I'm just always inspired when it comes to pass. So just listening, I started off designing t-shirts when I was in college for folks, and I used to do it for free all the time because I just was like, oh yeah, I never thought of it as something that you could actually do as a business. I just did it for friends or what have you. So just hearing, because I mean these days everybody has a t-shirt line, right? And it's so easy to get merchandise, especially with all of the different shops and software and things like that out there. So but it's just great to hear how your gifts are making room for you, and that you guys are developing this partnership. And you were just so when somebody gives you something that you're excited about, and then you just go, like you said, get on like a few minutes after getting off the phone, and you're like, here's a whole new plan, that kind of thing. That's awesome. So I think I like hearing the stories of people doing great things.
Yeah. And I also love, one of the things that I love is your consistency. So this is something Blair and I had a conversation about a few days ago, but I want to bring it here. Because circling back and kind of closing the loop on for the times that we're in, They love Black people.
Yeah.
And have always loved Black people. So the messages that you've been putting out have been consistent because it's a part of who you are as a Black man, as a Black gay man, as you know, as I call you, New Orleans royalty. You know, all that rich history and that affirmation that you received as a child and that being affirmed in your Blackness, that was part of the Blairisms.
Absolutely. I mean,
from
it is
day one.
a foundation of who I am, who I and ever will be. And that is why one of the beautiful things about having started the brand when we did, and now having this moment happen in the midst of all that is happening, is the prep. We didn't have to.
You didn't have to do a statement like Starbucks or the NFL. You didn't have to get brand new.
We didn't have to create.
Yeah, we didn't have to have an afternoon.
We didn't have to come up with a resist line. We've had a resistance line, a celebration of Blackness collection since we started.
Actually, that's the resistance was one of the first collections that we added once we launched because we did it on election day, on inauguration day. Yeah, on inauguration day, we launched the Not My President and the Not My Fucking President,
and it became the Resistance collection at the beginning of 2017,
right,
which was 3 weeks after we launched. And so the Resistance collection, and then we launched Celebrating Blackness in February right after that.
Right.
And so those are the two oldest collections of the Blairisms, other than the Blairisms themselves. And it's because that is so much a part of who I am that the brand can't be without it.
Mm-hmm.
And so to have this moment of the light shining on what it is that we've been doing, and to just be able to grow, to build upon the foundation that's already there.
Yeah.
It's a blessing. And like I told a reporter that reached out to us about, you know, how it feels to have support from other communities now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Genuine or not, guilt or not, I will take their money.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
Yeah,
I will take their money.
And we hope it continues.
And we hope it continues.
And we hope that it was, because one of the other challenges is I think that there are so many people who have this stigma against Black businesses. Like every single Black business that you're going to experience is going to give you bad customer service. It's going to be poor quality, and they feel the need to devalue and ask for discounts excessively. And one of the things that is,
don't take that personally. I'm always offering discounts.
Right, we do. Right, and we will offer discounts because we know that's how you sell stuff. Right, like. There is a difference in being one of those people who willfully supports, like full-heartedly doesn't ask for a discount, and then we say, here, take this family discount. We 20% off for every purchase you ever buy, ever and ever. Amen. You know what I mean? Like there are people who we've done that for because they show up and show out and show love. And then we, on the other hand, have people who have never ever supported the brand, and all they do is disparage Black businesses in general so that they can feel better about shopping and giving their money to white businesses like Louis Vuitton and Gucci and Dior. I mean, we create, we even in the Black community idolize Michael Kors and these companies because of what? Like,
y'all,
it ain't. I'm saying what? Because of what?
I don't know if you know, you struck a nerve.
I'm just saying, and I've worked for these companies. I have worked in wholesale, retail for I know luxury down to the basics. Like I get it. But here's the deal: that same Michael Kors bag,
it's all made in China, so I don't know why you tripping. That part.
Facts.
And let's be clear, them bags that's made in Italy, you don't need to be spending $4,000 or $5,000 for a handmade leather bag in Italy, girl. You can go get that for like $200-300. Like, and that's really being like luxurious. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's ridiculous how much capitalism has just warped so many of our priorities and our thought processes around things, right? Like we create clothes and we wanted to make clothes that anybody and everybody could wear and afford because we want people to be inspired and we want people to get something out of the clothes that they're wearing, not just to have on some label that we created.
Well, that's why most of our shirts are our regular T-shirt. All of our T-shirts are only $25, and they're quality T-shirts. They're not the cheapest brand of T-shirt that we could sell.
Right.
We cut into our. Y'all pray for me, please. We invest in quality while at the same time wanting to keep the prices reasonable, because we would prefer, and I've said this, and he looked at me crazy when for the very first time I said this. I said I would rather people have our stuff than us get rich. And he was like, "What? What does that mean?" I said, I would rather more people be able to afford to have our stuff in their lives than for us to be able to get rich on this. So if we're able to get rich at a price point that is affordable, then God bless us. Yeah. But I'm not about to charge. I mean, we went on a website the other day. I'm not going to say no names. We went on the website the other day, and to buy a T-shirt, and the T-shirt was like $36.99, and I was like, you can almost get 2 of ours for that.
You can actually with a discount code. Spin that wheel, get you a discount.
So I say that to say, like it was more, we approached this, yes, to make money and to be successful, but for us, for me, the message has always been what the brand has been about. Right. And so the message, getting the message out there has been the most important part.
Mm-hmm. And I love that you speak in your voice, and your voice is authentic. And no matter how popular you get or who you partner with, you maintain that voice.
Well, have y'all seen the Juneteenth shirt? Because there was some conversation over here about the Juneteenth shirt, because people, this moment that happened started a month or so ago. Folks started asking, both people we know and don't, especially given what's happening in the world right now, like, we need a Juneteenth shirt. Are you going to put it up? You're going to produce something for Juneteenth for us? And so we've never done a just Juneteenth specific shirt. And I brought it up to Bay a couple of times, and we tried to put something together, and it just kind of, we tried to put something with red, black, and green, and Juneteenth real big, and a chain, and we were trying to listing other things like gentrification, and redlining, and Jim Crow, and other things that have come since Juneteenth, and and every time we got to a certain place, I was like, "Yep, that's not it. Let's leave it alone for right now," because for me, even though people are asking for it, I would rather I would put not put something out at all, right, versus just putting something out just to put it out. I'm not going to ever do that. Mm-hmm. And so I left it alone and I wasn't consciously trying to come up with anything.
And then all of a sudden.
And then this is how it always happens. And then I was online, and I'm watching folks respond to the then planned Juneteenth Tulsa rally, and I was inspired. Mm-hmm. So we're laying in bed. It's the middle of the morning. It's like 9-10 o'clock in the morning, and I said, I got it. The slavery. I said the Juneteenth shirt is just gonna say "fuck slavery." Mm-hmm. That's
Keep
it.
it simple. And I was like, what?
He was like, what? I was like, no, that's it. That's how I feel about Juneteenth. That's it. That for me is the core message of what Juneteenth is about. Mm-hmm. Because the idea that white folks gave us freedom.
Right.
Baby, you about to say a word. Go ahead. Let me let the word hit me.
That's why in my head I approach it that way. Right, like Juneteenth is not about us getting freedom,
because we were born free.
Born free.
That was we were endowed by a creator freedom.
That's my point, right?
But you enslaved us.
Not own that freedom was being given to us, right? All of these things about freedom that we've tied to Juneteenth. Juneteenth is about an institution that should not have happened to begin with.
Thank you.
And so fuck that institution, but to your point, sis, that's who I am. Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to, I can't be other than this. If I'm going to, I wouldn't even get on camera. I wouldn't talk to anybody if I had to be different.
Mm-hmm. Well, look, we got a person here said they're on your site. They're ordering right now. This is our friend Soror and Lakeisha. She said, but she needs some talls. Her husband is a big and tall kind of brother.
XLT.
Yeah,
we can do an XLT.
And I'm 6'6".
He's 6'6". We can do an XLT.
He should be fine.
But we can do an XLT.
Extra large.
Okay, so you got that, Keisha. They can do an XLT for you, and we're gonna have to work on getting an XLT.
You have to get her to us so we can get her an XLT.
I will make that exchange so y'all can get that together. You might even get a discount code, Keisha.
So here, let's do this. Anybody who purchases from watching us tonight, we're creating a discount code right now that is Hey Sister.
Hey Sister.
H-E-Y-S,
right?
Huh?
You want to do two? Is it 2 Ys?
Let's keep it simple.
Keep it simple.
Yeah, you can just do 1 Y. It's fine.
You see, he be doing so much. Bless his heart.
Trying to be
not too.
Or Hey Sister as one word.
Hey Sister as one word. The discount code is now live.
15%.
When you go to checkout, it's on you put the discount code on the very last page of checkout. You'll see a box. It's a rectangle like that. It'll ask for promo code or discount, and you enter Hey Sister and apply, and it'll come through.
Nice.
That's nice. We love it. So for all of you out there watching, we need you to go to the blairisms.com. We know that you are on all of these sites. You're following Shop Black for Juneteenth, My Black Business, My Black Receipt. Well, you don't have to wait till Juneteenth to buy black. You can start today by going to the Blairisms and using the Hey Sister discount code and getting 15% off your total purchase. Wow. I am so grateful for you all joining us tonight.
Thank you so much for having us again.
I'm so blessed to just have you both in my life and learn from you. I'm gonna have to talk to you. Like we're gonna have a private conversation after we hang up with all of y'all, because we do have to talk about how Hey Sister and the Blairisms can do something together and launch.
We're always down. Y'all are family.
Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna, I y'all just got me so happy. Y'all got me in a better mood and a better space than when we started.
Same.
And I needed that, because like we said, we were starting off in a little bit of a rage. Now, you know what I'm gonna ask of you, Blair?
What's that?
I was gonna ask Blair the same thing, but I was gonna ask since he mentioned the whole Kenny Lattimore connection. I was gonna ask about for you.
But he's got to go get the charger. He's got to run though.
Yeah, we can't go out now. So you gonna ask him to close us out with that one?
Yes, I was gonna ask him. I mean, unless you feel like because of the times we need to be more, more apropos or something, the change is gonna come or something. I don't know.
Right now.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
I said, what's the spirit saying to you right now?
I don't know. I mean, I was expecting for you, since we had the conversation already.
Yeah.
I was expecting that was gonna be requested at some point.
All right. Well, Lakeisha said here, you need to come when we do our Labor Day party in September. You need to come on down. We don't know what COVID gonna say the same.
Listen, if COVID say the same, I don't know about September.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm following.
September 2021. I'm never September 2020. Every note that I play, every word I might say, every melody I feel, are only for you and your appeal. Every page that I write, every day of my life would not be filled without the things that my love for and make a promise of fidelity now and for eternity. See, there's no one that could replace this vow for you. I take your hand and heart and everything and add to them a wedding ring. 'Cause this life is no good alone. Since we've become one, you're all I know. This feeling should leave I die. And here's why. All I am is for you. Everything I do now, it makes sense. But when all roads end, all I do is for only for you.
Yes, I can't think of a better way to wrap up for the night. Y'all like, follow, and share this. I'm going to end our broadcast, and then we're going to talk offline and have a private conversation.
All right.
Peace, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in. We love y'all.
Check us out at the Blairisms.